Welcome back into another episode of Bucko Booth, everybody. My name is Benson Fector, and I will be the host of your show today. Thank you all for tuning in live, archive, wherever you're doing it from. We certainly do appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the next hour of Pittsburgh Pirates baseball talk. Let's dive right into our weekly recap. So, on Sunday, the Pirates in the Little League Classic in Williamsport, they definitely did get beat pretty badly by a score of 7-1, dropping the series to the Cubs. They welcomed in the Nationals for a 4-game series this week. Lost game 1 by a score of 13-0. Won game 2, 4-1. Then got blown out the final 2 games, losing by a score of 11-1 and 7-1. And last night, the Pittsburgh Pirates walked off the Cincinnati Reds in the first game of their 3-game weekend set for Players Weekend by a score of 3-2. Let's get into the weekly transactions that the Pirates did make this week. So, going back to Sunday, the Pirates recalled right-handed pitcher Montana Durapau from the Indianapolis Indians. On Monday, they optioned shortstop Cole Tucker back to Indy. On Tuesday, Kyle Crick dropped his appeal on his suspension. And Jose Osuna was activated from his suspension. With that, the Pirates optioned right-handed pitcher Montana Durapau to Indy and activated right-handed pitcher Richard Rodriguez from the 10-day injured list. On Wednesday, the Pirates recalled right-handed pitcher Parker Markell from Indy, placed right-handed pitcher Chris Archer on the 10-day injured list with right shoulder inflammation, placed right-handed pitcher Clay Holmes on the 10-day injured list with left quadriceps discomfort, and recalled right-handed pitcher Dario Agrazal from Indy. On Thursday, the Pirates released catcher Francisco Cervelli, and yesterday, Friday, Kyle Crick, his suspension was ended, so he is now back on the active roster. We're going to take one mailbag question this week. It comes from Tom. He wants to know, when do you think we will contend? Well, Tom, I honestly think this team has the talent to maybe be a wildcard team next year, but 2021 is the real season that I have my eye out for, in which this team could be a legitimate World Series contending team. We all know the talent that is on this team, and yes, they are capable, I believe, of contending next season. I mean, keep in mind, this team was only 2.5 games back of the All-Star of the division at the All-Star break. So this team still has plenty of talent here. The second half collapse, it's tough to explain, but I do think this team could be capable of contending as soon as next season. Let's get into our weekly awards. Player of the week goes to Starling Marte. He batted .333 this week, 7 for 21, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. We're going to get, I have a whole segment planned out a little bit later on in the show for Starling Marte, but what more can you say about the Pirates' Gold Glove, 2-time All-Star center fielder? And we've talked about potentially trading him in the offseason if they're going to go down that full rebuild path, but just we need to start appreciating the greatness that is Starling Marte. He now, currently, only 2 players in Pirates history have ever had 22 or more home runs, 23 or more stolen bases, and batted .290 for a season. Yes, Starling Marte hasn't finished the season yet batting .290, but if he does, only the 2 players to ever do that will be himself and Barry Bonds. Starling Marte is a Pirate all-time great at this point, and we need to start appreciating the man that he is. Pitcher of the week goes to Chris Archer. This week, he had 1 start, only lasted an inning, came out because of injury, but in that inning, gave up 2 hits, struck out 2. Last week he was our pitcher of the week too, and his ERA wasn't that great with a 5.40, but he did strike out 10 guys in his start, and really it's a shame with this right shoulder inflammation that he's going to be out. Now, from what I've heard, he probably will make a return this season. Would be nice to see him get back on the mound and, get some confidence heading into 2020, because 2020 is going to be a big season for him. Jameson Taillon will be out the entirety of the season, and we're going to need Chris Archer to step up in a big way in 2020 if we are going to be that contending team. Chris Archer is going to be a big part of our success if we're a good baseball team, if we are a contending baseball team. Chris Archer is going to be important. I do want to see him back on the field in 2019, but in his inning, he did look solid. Rookie of the week goes to Brian Reynolds. He batted .238 this week, 5 for 21 in RBI. It's probably the worst week that Brian Reynolds has had at the big league level, but if you're still, 238 is decent, right? 5 for 21 isn't great. Did drive in the run, but he's consistently putting up quality at-bats. And that's the thing that you have to love about Brian Reynolds. Right now he sits in third place in the NL batting title race. Ahead of him right now are Jeff McNeil batting 332 and Christian Yelich batting at 329. He's sitting at 324, so he has a realistic chance of winning the batting title and being the first ever NL rookie and the second ever true rookie to win the batting title. Like, if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, if he does that, then the baseball writers, they're nuts, right? Brian Reynolds has turned himself into a young star, and he's going to be a big part of that next contending, playoff Pirates baseball team. Brian Reynolds is going to be that guy on that next team. Glove of the week goes to Kevin Newman. 20 total chances, 12 assists, 8 putouts, 4 double plays, no errors. Kevin Newman's bat has definitely started to slow down. And we all knew he wasn't going to bat 320 all season, but now he's starting to dip into the 290s. But still, his glove has been very, very solid. And really, if you just look at fielding percentage-wise, he's one of the best shortstops in the entire National League, in all of baseball. Kevin Newman is a very solid shortstop. He can play second base as well. And I've said this many a time, the double play, the middle infield combo for the future needs to be Cole Tucker and Kevin Newman. Put them at short second. Whatever you want to do with that, that is going to be the duo of the future. And just as I said, Brian Reynolds is going to play a big role in that next contending Pirates team. Kevin Newman is also going to play a big role in that next competitive contending playoff Pirates team. The Pittsburgh Pirates walked off the Cincinnati Reds in a 3-2 victory on Friday night. In their first series since the tension-filled series that saw multiple players and coaches wind up with suspensions, following a bases-clearing brawl, the Pittsburgh Pirates and Cincinnati Reds kicked off their 3-game series and MLB Players Weekend on Friday night. As has been the case throughout the current homestand, the Pirate offense struggled as they kicked off their series against the Reds. While the team only mustered 3 runs thanks to great work by the pitching staff, it was enough to secure a victory. Following a 3-2 victory over the Reds on Friday night, the Pirates are now 53-75 overall on the season. This was just their 9th victory since the All-Star break. Mitch Keller took the ball for the Pirates in his 6th career MLB start on Friday night. Leading off the second inning, Aristides Aquino continued his historic August by blasting a solo home run. The 12th home run of the month by the Reds rookie gave the Redlegs a 1-0 lead. The Pirates squared off against Anthony DeSclafani, who was making his 3rd start of the season against the Pirates. In his first 2 starts, he allowed 9 earned runs in 10 innings of work. Friday night, however, things went much differently. Throughout the night, DeSclafani was in control of a struggling Pirate offense. In the 4th inning, the Pirates threatened when Brian Reynolds doubled to start the inning and Colin Moran walked with 2 outs. However, DeSclafani was able to escape the jam unscathed. Reynolds walked to start the bottom of the 6th inning. Starling Marte reached on an infield hit. Both moved up on a Josh Bell flyout, and the Bucks had 2 runners in scoring position with just 1 out. Colin Moran would then ground out to score Reynolds and tied the game at 1. With the game tied, Keller took the mound in the 7th inning. After allowing a double and a single, he was lifted. Michael Feliz took over for Keller and inherited a runners on the corners with no one out jam. All Feliz would do is strike out the 3 Cincinnati batters he faced on his way to keeping the game tied at 1 and stranding the runners. Quietly, Feliz has been excellent out of the Pirate bullpen this season. In what was the best start yet of Keller's young career, he pitched 6+ innings, fired 20 of 24 first pitch strikes, allowed just 1 run, and struck out a career-high 9 batters. His slider looked unhittable, and his curveball was a plus pitch as well. Hopefully, this will springboard Keller to a strong finish this season. Also, let's hope it proves to the Pirates that he needs to be leaning on his 2 best pitches, the slider and curveball, not his fastball. Robert Stevenson took over for the Reds in the 7th inning after DeSclafani fired 6 innings of 1-run ball. Leading off the 7th inning, Frazier reached on an error and stole second base. The Pirates, however, would fail to capitalize. Stevenson picked up his defense with a pair of strikeouts and a groundout to end the scoring threat. Keone Kela took the mound for the Pirates, working on a stretch of 13 consecutive scoreless outings that dated back to April 21st. After allowing a double with one out to Freddie Galvis, he got a strikeout and got to 2 strikes on Aquino. However, Aquino then ripped a run-scoring double into the left field corner to score Galvis, giving the Reds a 2-1 lead. Pitching to Aquino, especially once the count got to 3-2, was a questionable move. He has been arguably the hottest hitter in baseball this month and entered his 8th inning at bat 2 for 3 with a home run and a double on the night. After Amir Garrett pitched a scoreless bottom of the 8th inning for the Reds, Felipe Vasquez countered with one of his own in the top of the 9th. Facing Marcel Iglesias in the 9th inning, the Pirates got back-to-back hits to start the inning from Moran and Jose Osuna. Despite breaking his bat, Adam Frazier blooped a single into shallow center field. This scored a pinch runner Eric Gonzalez to tie the game at 2. Following the Frazier single, Jacob Stallings laid down a sacrifice bunt to put the winning run on third base with just 1 out. After the sac bunt, Pablo Reyes drove a ball over the head of Phillip Ervin in left field. The first career walk-off hit for Reyes gave the Pirates a 3-2 victory. The second game of this series is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. on Saturday night. Tonight, if you're listening today, Trevor Williams, 5.65 ERA, 5.17 FIP. Will start for the Pirates as he continues to look to turn around what has been a brutal stretch since coming off the injury list. Lefty Alex Wood, a 5.92 ERA and a 6.25 FIP, will take the ball for the Reds. Will be nice to see if Trevor Williams can start to really turn that corner after really what has been the worst stretch of his career. I ran 10,000 simulations, and in none of them did I predict a little leaguer from Canada embarrassing the Pittsburgh Pirates on TV. But then again, everyone else is. So I guess I shouldn't have been too surprised. On Tuesday night, Dan Potash and AT&T Sports Network decided to interview a little leaguer who was attending the Pittsburgh Pirates game at PNC. Well, that was awkward. Everett Birch from Canada put it well. PNC Park is beautiful, but it doesn't matter if no one shows up to watch the games. Yes, it was a weekday night. Sure, it was hot and at 77% humidity. I guess we could say it was a bit humid too. But honestly, all of those excuses come across as empty. One of my favorite memories as a Pirates fan is from back in 2015. My brother and I attended a very hot and very humid game on July 12th. The Pirates would walk off the game in the 10th inning by scoring 3 runs against Trevor Rosenthal, who owned a 1.49 ERA at that point. If Everett was attending that game, I think he would have a quite different opinion about Pittsburgh and the Pirates, as over 33,000 fans were in attendance. The excuses of temperature, humidity, and the day of the week only highlight what is a stark reality. The reality that this current management team has unequivocally failed at their own goals. Neil Huntington has stated over and over again during his tenure that it is management's sole goal to play competitive baseball every year, to play meaningful baseball games in August. For the 4th year in a row, the Pirates have not played meaningful baseball in August. And unlike last season when the team still finished with a winning record, the 2019 Pittsburgh Baseball Club is stumbling to the finish line with the worst second-half performance in MLB history. With the Pirates losing yet again on Thursday night, 7-1 to the Nationals, the team has dropped to 53-75. The Pirates are 9-30 since the All-Star break. The team is far closer to competing for the first overall pick in the 2020 MLB draft than a playoff berth. Day in and day out, the team takes the field with a clear lack of leadership, a lack of motivation, and a lack of potential to win. Some of this is on the players, but the majority of this is on management for failing to supply the team with leadership, motivation, and the player talent and depth needed to win professional baseball games. This, young Everett, is why no one is at PNC Park on a Tuesday night in August. And it's not just that Tuesday night in August, folks. The attendance issues have continued, and really the entire National Series, there were about 10,000 people that showed up to each game. 10,000 people each. In the past, we've made fun of attendance figures with teams like the Marlins and the Reyes, but the reality here in this situation is that the Pirates are becoming them. And, this squarely falls, I believe, on the shoulders of management, because, Neil Huntington has said over and over and over again that it is management's responsibility